The Night Report Saturday starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Emmeline Ivy in for Jody Kurzman. Happy Independence Day and thank you all so much for joining us. Well, the 4th of July looks different compared to years past. Parades are canceled, but there's still events at the Capitol grounds. And that's where we find Daniel Burbank. So Daniel, tell us, how are the crowds?
Emmeline, the crowds are about the same, if not bigger than last year. In fact, let me step out of the way just so you can take a look here. Live here at the Capitol grounds, I'm Daniel Burbank reporting for your news leader.
Yeah, thank you to Daniel for giving us a peek at that. But now it's time to turn our attention over to meteorologist Emily Hillman. Emily?
And the forecast is looking pretty good, at least for those Capitol fireworks.
Fears of rising coronavirus infections puts a damper on many celebrations across the country. One state reported its highest single-day total of positive COVID-19 tests, and the disease has reached the White House once again. NBC's Chris Pallone has the story.
Chris Pallone, NBC News, Sanford, Florida.
A third former Minneapolis officer involved in the death of George Floyd is out on bond. Former Officer Tao was released this morning on a $750,000 bond. According to the Hennepin County Jail, the bond release comes with conditions that were not listed. He now joins fellow former officers J. Alexander Quang and Thomas Lane, who are also out on bond, pending their trial date next year. The former officer is charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. As America celebrates its independence, a new memorial to freedom has organically grown in the shadow of the White House. Across from Lafayette Park, Black Lives Matter protesters have hung their posters and artwork. Every day, people come for a glimpse of the messages carried in protest and to pay homage to those who lost their lives. Peter Alexander reports.
And I hope that we will hang it on the walls of some of our most prominent museums because it's a symbol of progress.
Coming up, COVID-19 has stopped the American Cancer Society from hosting fundraisers, but the need for money is still there. We'll have more on how they're coping.
This is the Night Report Saturday.
American Cancer Society normally hosts several Relay for Life events all across North Dakota in the summer to raise money for cancer research. This year, many of those relays have either been canceled or postponed due to COVID-19, which has been detrimental to their fundraising during their peak season.
We can't get together and do a Relay for Life and have 1,000 cancer survivors in the same place because, we don't want there to be somewhere where there is an outbreak of COVID, because that puts their life in even more danger than they're already in.
American Cancer Society staff says they're working on socially distant ways to fundraise, such as drive-through luminaria services to honor lost loved ones and selling virtual fitness classes in order to make up for lost donations. The Mandan Market concluded its two-day event in Mandan. Organizers say they decided to continue having the event because it's vital to the economy and to Mandan business owners. Dot Frank, who helped organize the event, says social distancing is easier because only 1/5 of the vendors and customers were allowed to set up. Now let's turn our attention over to Emily Hillman for another look at that weather. Emily?
Well, we've got severe weather that's working its way through the region through the overnight hours. Right now, a severe thunderstorm. Temperatures in those 80s, and Emmeline, by this weekend, we could be looking at 90s once again.
All right, thank you, Emily. Coming up next, we head to the final night of the Mandan Rodeo Days performance rounds after the break. Time for one last look at the weather.
Well, we do have some severe weather that continues to move through the region. For tomorrow, though, we're looking at temperatures in the 80s.
Thank you all so much for joining us. You can check out the Capitol Fireworks Show on our website, yournewsleader.com. Have a good night.